There have been other civilizations that have already made that shift. In my past life work, that's where I take people back to every time period you could possibly imagine. And some of them went back to those times, and they were there when the civilization itself developed to the point it didn't have to be here anymore, and the vibrations and frequencies changed to the point that they shipped to this other dimension.
Wow.
And, of course, the ones I'm speaking to, they're back in this life now. And I said, why did you come back? And they said, we came to help in this new thing where the entire planet is going to shift. So civilizations have done it. But this is the first time an entire planet is changing in frequency and vibration to go into another dimension. It's already happening. The ones who are into the negativity, and who don't believe in any of this, they will stay with the old Earth.
Using past life regression techniques with 12 of her clients over a 3-year period, Dolores Cannon says she was able to communicate with Nostradamus. In her 3-volume set, Conversations with Nostradamus, she provides translations of 1,000 prophecies by Nostradamus using modern-day language.
It's a very strange story. But once it happened, he said he wanted the prophecies interpreted in modern English for our time, so we would know what was happening.
Nostradamus initiated contact with Miss Cannon, but it was not his spirit that spoke to her through her clients. Rather, she says, it was the prophet speaking to her while alive in his own time.
In the beginning of my work, I didn't understand about simultaneous time. Now I have a little better understanding about it. But he kept saying, you're not speaking to us, the dead, when we're doing this. I'm not a spirit floating around out here. He was living his life in his house in France, writing the prophecies. And it was very interesting because during the whole 3 books, we're interacting in his life. And we learned more about him than anybody else has ever known about him. He was telling us the worst case scenarios. What would happen if mankind didn't do something to stop it? So what he was telling us was what could happen if we went down that path. One thing he said is that there is many probabilities and possibilities to the future. It's not set in stone. There are nexus points where something has to occur, points when something they had to appear at that time. From that nexus point, time branches out in many probabilities according to which path you want to travel down. And do you want to go down the path of least resistance, where there will be the least things that will happen, or the worst possibility of that nexus point? He told us that man doesn't know the power of their own mind, that you can change the future. He said anyone can change their reality with their life by just focusing on it, because they don't know the power of their own mind. He said if one man's mind is powerful enough to change the future, imagine the power of group mind, where you get groups of people focusing on the same thing. The power is not only multiplied, it's squared. The power is tremendous. And they wanted me to go all over the world and tell everyone this about the power of their own mind. And I did this for 20 years, and I think we succeeded in changing the timeline. We're not doing the worst that he saw. We're going down a different timeline of least resistance. But it was supposed to have been, we were going to go through horrible wars first to get to this point. So we changed the timeline. And that's why I don't lecture on those anymore, because it's taken a different direction. So I've been through that, and now I'm focusing on my Convoluted Universe book series, because that has to do with complex concepts and theories. It's to stretch the mind.
The 3-volume Convoluted Universe series contains lost knowledge and secrets that Dolores Cannon says were revealed to her over a 20-year period through working with clients in past life regression sessions. Ms. Cannon delves into many complex metaphysical concepts and mysteries in the books. Among the topics covered include the history of our Earth, Atlantis, the Bermuda Triangle, the Ark of the Covenant, and the Shroud of Turin.
There's 3 books, and they're 700 pages each. Each one gets a little more complicated. I call them books for people who want their minds bent like pretzels. They deal with parallel universes, parallel realities, mysteries of the world, the pyramids, the Sphinx, the Bermuda Triangle, everything anybody ever wanted to ask a question about. They have to do with other dimensions, portals, windows, anything you could want to think about. And then it goes into things that nobody has ever thought about. But they said it's time for us to know these things, to broaden our minds. An entire planet will shift. There have been other civilizations that have already made that shift. In my past life work, that's where I take people back to every time period you could possibly imagine. And some of them went back to those times, and they were there when the civilization itself developed to the point it didn't have to be here anymore, and the vibrations and frequencies changed to the point that they shifted to this other dimension.
Wow.
And of course, the ones I'm speaking to, they're back in this life now, and I said, why did you come back? And they said, we came to help in this new thing where the entire planet is going to shift. So civilizations have done it, but this is the first time an entire planet is changing in frequency and vibration to go into another dimension. It's already happening. The ones who are into the negativity and who don't believe in any of this, they will stay with the old earth. See, it's a dividing. The old earth and the new earth are splitting off. They will stay with what they have created. But it's okay. They'll eventually get there. It all has to do with free will, so you can't change anybody's belief system. The earth is a living being, and it is going into its next incarnation. It's evolving. Just took it a little longer because it's a larger body. And that's what's going through right now, the changing of the vibrations and the frequencies.
What specific changes will humanity undergo to match the development of our planet?
Our vibration and frequency has to change to match it as it evolves. And this has been happening, I believe it started about 2003, and it's been happening gradually since. This is such a strong energy shift. If it were to happen all at once to your body, you couldn't handle it, your body would be destroyed. So it has to happen gradually. And that's what it's been doing, gradually, little by little. And time is definitely speeding up. Scientists have proved this. Now we're living actually 16-hour days instead of 24. They said the clocks aren't going to show it, but time is speeding up to where everything is accelerated. It's a gradual process that happens little by little, and you won't notice it except there will be some physical effects. And a lot of people go running to the doctors, and the doctors can't find anything wrong with them. These physical effects will happen like for a few days, and then they'll taper off, and maybe you won't feel it again for another week or maybe another month as the body adjusts to this changing and raising of the vibrations. All the ETs, all the other beings out there are watching Earth to see, are we going to be able to do this? I've got lots and lots of questions about what's going to happen. They always tell me, we can't answer your questions because we don't know. It's never happened before. We're all learning in the process. But it is a division, and the old Earth is there for those, if that's what they want. They're staying with what they have created. We're going to move on, but they said eventually they'll catch up. All the disasters, the wars, and everything will be with the old Earth. And you begin to notice a division as you begin to pull away from it. That's what I mean about the old world and the new world.
Wow.
You learn to tell the difference. How many people are noticing their diets changing? This is another big factor in it. They said the best food is live foods, which they consider to be fresh fruits and vegetables. Because if we want to go, we have to make our body lighter. in order to shift, to raise the vibration.